Hey, Spookerinos! Well, a few years back, it was announced that there was an X-Files reboot in the works. Chris Carter said he wouldn't be involved with the project, and Creed director Ryan Coogler would be taking over. Now, since this announcement was made, there hasn't really been any sort of update. For a while, I was actually wondering if it was even still in the works. Well, a few days ago, we got our update from Ryan Coogler himself when he appeared on the podcast, Last Podcast on the Left. While promoting his new movie Sinners, which I've heard is a pretty decent vampire movie, the topic of what he was working on next came up. Ryan told the hosts of the podcast that the X-Files would be the next thing that he was working on.
I'm working on X-Files, bro.
Seriously?
So I've been excited about that for a long time, and I'm fired up to get back to it. You know, some of those episodes, if we do our jobs right, will be really fucking scary.
Making the X-Files scary is definitely a good thing, but exactly what kind of scary has me concerned. If it's modern day political climate scary, then the project is DOA from the jump. While the X-Files did delve into politics somewhat, it mostly kept things neutral and just had fun with the idea of government conspiracies. They tried delving into modern politics when the series returned, and it was as effective as a wet fart. Now, if Coogler means he wants to make it scary with monsters, then you have my attention. The Monster of the Week stuff is the bread and butter of the X-Files. The only issue is modern television viewers have been trained to watch more serialized television, which has really never been my thing. I think if you really want to keep the essence of the X-Files, then you need to keep the Monster of the Week format. There's still tons of legends and cryptids and various folk tales from around the world that they could explore. Hey, maybe we could do a proper episode about the Jersey Devil, or a proper episode about the Chupacabra. Some of the most well-known cryptids were wasted in my opinion and could finally be properly explored. I would love an episode that focused on the Mothman. I know the episode Detour does have Mulder briefly mention the Mothman a few times, which I guess would make that episode the Mothman episode, but I want one that properly explores the Mothman mythos. You also have tons of myths and legends from around the world that would make for excellent X-Files episodes. The original series did do some of that, but I think they were a bit hampered with what they were able to do because of money and special effects. This is an area that could be explored in the new rebooted series. Ryan also stated that he's had some brief conversations with Gillian Anderson about returning as Scully.
I've spoken to the great Gillian Anderson. Yes, she's amazing. She's incredible, and fingers crossed there. But yeah, bro, we're gonna try to make something really great, bro. It's, something for the real X-Files fans and
Hell yeah.
today, you know what I'm saying? And maybe find some new ones.
So there's a few things to unpack here. Firstly, Gillian possibly returning isn't really all that shocking. There were already some reports that she was interested specifically because of Ryan Coogler's involvement. After season 11 wrapped, Gillian said she was hanging up Dana Scully for good, but I think that had more to do with how her character was mishandled by Chris Carter than her really being sick of Scully. As much as I'm grateful that Chris Carter gave us the X-Files, he is the biggest reason why the show crashed the way it did. Scully was put through the ringer, and the decisions and retconning they did in seasons 10 and 11 pretty much killed the show. However, because of Ryan's involvement and Chris Carter having absolutely nothing to do with the reboot, it seems more likely she'll return. My guess is she'll return in a limited capacity, maybe only a few episodes, and will likely be there more so to pass the torch to the new agents, even though I don't like that idea and feel like the whole passing of the torch thing is played out by this point. They've already tried passing the torch twice in the X-Files, and both times it was a huge flop. There also wasn't any mention of David, but I think David is pretty much locked in. He has said in multiple interviews that he would be willing to do more X-Files, so I think we can expect to see the return of Mulder. Like Scully though, I don't think he'll be the main focus, and will simply appear from time to help the new younger agents. If anything, I'd put my money down that he's used as the new informant, similar to Deep Throat or X, just a lot less shady. Unless they pull the Disney method of destroying established characters in order to prop up newer ones, because that is the Disney way. That's something people need to remember too, this is Disney X-Files. So far, anything Disney gets their mitts onto dies a very painful death. Although if we're being honest, I don't think the X-Files can get any worse than it already has. I love the X-Files, it's my favorite show, but I would be delusional if I didn't call out how the quality of the show dropped so low. The other thing I wanted to address was how Coogler said he wanted to make this for the fans and maybe even find new ones. I think above all else, even if the series is a flop, this could potentially bring new younger eyes onto the X-Files, which I think could be a great thing. I would love to see a whole new generation discover the X-Files and all the craziness that comes with it. Overall though, I'm not really excited for this project. The X-Files was a product of the 90s and lightning in a bottle. It's not really something I think you can replicate. Also, I've just been burned one too many times to get excited. But if the reboot comes out and it's just a fun, spooky time, then I'll consider it a win. But what do you think about the things Ryan Coogler has said about the reboot and Gillian's potential return? Does this get you excited about the reboot, or are you still not interested in a return to the X-Files? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's all for today. If any more news drops, I'll be sure to share it with you all. Thanks for watching and stay spooky!
Woman, get back in here and make me a sandwich.